So you've been given authority. Your leaders, go lead. There's two thoughts here to help you gain focus. Because as leaders, there's like 9 things we could be doing at the same time all the time. That's just the reality. And I'm not even talking about your personal lives. I'm just talking about in ministry. We need to recruit leaders, and we need to set up the thing for Sunday, and we need to put the lyrics in, and we need to plan the songs, and schedule the volunteers, and practice the song. Like, there's always things you can do. So there's 2 keys to gaining the focus that's required for you to do what needs to be done. The first of them is priorities. A leader who knows the right priorities but lacks concentration knows what to do but never gets it done. I'll repeat that. A leader who knows the right priorities but lacks concentration, they know what to do but they never get it done. They know they know the priorities, but they don't have concentration. They're not focused. So they never get what they need to get done. We're going to talk about this in just a second. The second thing you got to have is concentration. If you're a smart kid, you figured that out from the first definition. You got to have concentration. A leader who has concentration but no priorities has excellence but no progress. A leader who has concentration, hyper-focus, but no priorities, has excellence but no progress. They're probably excellent at things that don't matter, things that they can get done that don't matter. But leaders who harness both, they accomplish great things. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to draw again. Just imagine, if you will, that this is a bullseye. Okay? It's a bullseye. There are 4 rings. This is your rings of focus as a leader. And I think this applies outside of leadership at the house. Okay? So this is transformational in my life, and I think it can be in your life too. These 4 areas are the things that you could focus on. And each of them has a definition. Ring 1 are the things that I love. That's a heart. Okay? And they are a priority. I love them, and they are a priority. I love them, they are a priority. I love them, they are a priority. Okay? Ring 2. I love them. They are not a priority. I love them, they're not a priority. Love them, not a priority. Ring 3. I do not love them, but they are a priority. I do not love these things, but they are a priority in life, in ministry, on my team, on my job, in my home. I do not love them, but they are a priority. And in ring 4, I'll put a comma there. They are not a priority, and I do not love them. So ring 1, I love them, they are a priority. Ring 2, I love them, they are not a priority. Ring 3, I do not love them, they are a priority. And ring 4, I do not love them, they are not a priority. You go, man, that's a lot of stuff. I'm not really sure I'm tracking with you. But here's the reality for most of us in the way that we work. We easily can focus on number 1. Because we love them. We love those things. And they are a priority. I mean, they're a priority in our job. So if we love our job, we love the team we lead, it kind of brings a sense of fulfillment and success when we do these things, when we're working on them. Because we can see we're pushing things down the field here. We're moving towards a touchdown. Things are happening. Like, everything is progressing the way that it should because it's a priority. Like, we see how this connects to the end goal. And we love them. We're passionate about it, whatever that is for you. You're the guy that really cares about fonts on that computer for Sunday morning. You love it. You're downloading new fonts from defont.com. Like, you love it, right? We're going to try this Sunday. We think it fits. It's above the waterline, but it fits in the vision. It's a priority because we got to get the songs up there. Man, I love it. I am passionate about it. It's easy to get things done there. But here's the problem. After we work on these things, or maybe even while we work on these things, we also work on these things because we love them. But they're not a priority. We've got to skip ring 2 and make sure that everything in ring 3 gets done because it is a priority. But I don't love them. I don't love the things in ring 3 but they're a priority. And as a leader, you got to do stuff you don't love. If you didn't know that when you came in today, write that down. You got to do stuff you don't love as a leader, right? But it's a priority. I don't love it. It's not what I would choose to do with my time, but it's a priority. It has to get done for us to keep moving the ball down the field, for us to keep progressing towards success and what God's called us to do here at the house. We got to do it, but I don't love it. I don't love it. I'm going to give you some specific examples for me in just a minute that may clarify this if you're not sure. And then thing number 4, I don't love it and it's not a priority. What the heck are you doing it then? Why are you even working on it? So here's what I want you to know. You got to spend your time doing number 1, and you should never spend your time doing number 4. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. It doesn't mean it doesn't get done. It means it doesn't get done by you. Because it's not a priority. It's taking your valuable time that you should be working on 1, 3, and then maybe 2. You should never work on something that you don't love and it's not a priority. You should be a strong enough leader that somebody you lead can work on that for you. And here's the reality. Just because you don't love it, you assume nobody loves it, but somebody on your team gets up in the morning thinking about doing that and being excited about it. Like, you hate fonts. You can't stand choosing fonts. Once you're scrolling through them in Photoshop, they all look the same. You just can't see the difference, right? You're like, I hate it, I don't like it, I don't want to do it. Somebody, like, they have a subscription to dafont.com. Like, they love it. And so you just say, like, hey, Sydney, I need you to figure out which fonts we need to use on Sunday. She'd be like, yes! Are you kidding? I get to do that. Thank you so much for choosing me to be a capable woman who can lead tens of fonts. Right? You think because you don't love it, nobody does, and the reality is somebody on your team is dying to do that. Don't ever do something in Ring 4. It's robbing you of valuable time and energy, and it's a great way for you to develop new leaders on your team because you have given them authority to make a decision, which we're going to talk about language of delegation in just a second. You've given them authority to make a decision that you don't have to be a part of. Now, when you get here, and I don't even know if they still have these, but it's like the WebDings thing or whatever, and it doesn't even make sense, and you can't read it, then you probably got to have a meeting on Sunday afternoon and go, hey, we're just probably not going to use that font in the future. Like, next time, bounce the font off of me before, like on Saturday, let's make sure we're all. But you can walk that back. That you've equipped somebody, you've released them into ministry. Don't ever do number 4. Let me give you some specific examples for me. For me, Ring 1 is like speaking on Sundays. Speaking and preaching. I love it. It's a priority. It's got to get done. I love the preparation, the process. I love to communicate the gospel. I love to help people take next steps in their relationship with Jesus Christ. I love it. I need to be spending time here. I love it, and it is a priority. Our organization, our church, is firing on all cylinders, or in a better way, if I'm spending time in Ring 1. It is. Not because I'm the best communicator on our team even, just because I love it, and it's a priority. It's got to get done, and it's one of the things that we have decided on our team. This is one of the things that is Jeremy's priority. So Ring 1 for me is speaking, communicating, preaching, whatever you call it. That's a Ring 1 for me. I got to spend time there, and I love it. Ring 2 for me, I was thinking about this. I asked Trevor last night. We came up with several examples, but I think Ring 2 for me would be like driving around looking for property for possible future campuses. I have developed over the last 6 years a love for commercial real estate. I really have. Before we moved, we were in a high school. We met for 4 years in a high school, 209 Sundays. On the front of our stage is 209 stones that we had on the stage at the high school the last Sunday we were there, and we brought them to our new facility, and we put them up there because it was like an Old Testament altar of remembrance, like of what God did in that season for us. 209 Sundays. But in that 209 Sundays, I probably looked at 75 commercial properties to try to find a place for us to move. Old church buildings and abandoned retail spaces and pieces of land we could build even though we didn't have money to build. Like whatever, I just loved driving around and looking. And if I'm not careful, I can still do that. I can still drive around and go, oh my God, that would make such an amazing church. We need to plant a campus here. I don't care that it's 50 feet from our building. I love it. I love it. It's Ring 2. I love it, but it's not a priority right now. That's not a priority. I think we're going to plant new campuses. I think we'll plant several, but that's not the priority right this second. Ring 3 for me is improving kids' check-in. In this present moment, we've got to improve kids' check-in. I do not love it. I do not. But it's a priority. Families will leave our church if they have several bad weekends in a row of trying to get their kids checked in. And I don't think we had enough kiosks and enough stations and enough of the right people. We had people, but we had the wrong people standing there that I'm not sure even knew what a computer was, and I'm not sure why they're serving in that role, but it's like, it's a priority. We got to get that right. I hate it. I hate it. But for us as a church, as an organization, a better use of my time is not looking for 12 acres for $8 million. It's just finding 3 new volunteers for Kids Check-In. It's actually a smaller step. It actually helps us to progress and move the ball down the field, but it's just something I hate doing, so I avoid it. And I'm not over Kids Check-In, but I'm just saying I got to make sure it gets done. I got to make sure that the capable man that I put over that 50s, they're doing their job because it's wearing on me. I got to make sure it's getting done. So that's a 3 for me. 4 is graveling the grassy lot behind our parking lot. Like we're kind of out of parking space, and we have been for a while, and so we park our volunteers down in the front of our building. We have a similar setup to you if it was 2 stories, and the front side of it was down on a lower level. So you kind of pull in the parking lot, and it's like 2 different tiers, and there's different tenants in the building downstairs. And so we park our volunteers down on the front lot so that we leave as many open spots up front. And any of our regular attenders, even if they're not volunteering yet, we ask them to park down there, and we're out of space. And there's this grass lot that's similar to that grass lot that I see right through the window there, and we want to gravel that lot, and we want to maintain it, and we want to help make sure it stays clean and nice, but that we could use as parking up on our level of the building. But it's not a priority right this second because we figured out a way to work around it, and I hate it. So I just don't need to do it. I need to say, Trevor, I need you to get 7 guys that know about gravel, and I need you to take somebody and go take that guy that owns that lot to lunch and sweet talk him until he gives us permission to drop a bunch of rocks on that grass. Just go. I can't spend any more time on it. I can't spend time thinking about it. It takes emotional and mental energy. I just get angry when I think about it. So will you just take that? That's 4. It's ring 4 for me. And so I don't know what your rings look like, but you as a leader have to be able to know the right priorities and to be able to concentrate on the right things. And if you do, you will get the right things done. But you got to make sure that you're getting number 1 and number 3 done because they're the priorities. It doesn't mean you have to do them. Now, I wouldn't delegate number 1 a lot because I love it. Why would I delegate things away from me that I love unless I absolutely have too many things in number 1, which is a bigger problem? That means I'm not a good delegator. If there's a lot of things that are priorities and I love, it means I'm a micromanager or I'm not a good leader, and because leadership's about delegation. And so if that's the case, then I've got a bigger set of issues. But I'm not going to delegate a ton of number 1 things because I love them. They're priorities. That's who I'm called to be. I got to multiply myself maybe to get some of those things done, but I'm doing these. I'm never doing these. I'm making sure that this gets done first, and then if I have time, I'm working on these. It's inverted. It's skewed, but you get that. Love it, priority. Never doing it, ever. Never. Going to make sure this gets done first, then I get to work on the things that I love, even if they're not a priority. I'm going to go drive around and find them. I'm going to do it. But only after Kids Check-In is fixed, and my message for Sunday's ready, and Trevor's got a plan for the 7 guys that are going to gravel the lot. Because we've got priorities and we've got concentration. So there's 5 ways, really practically, that I think you can improve your focus. 5 ways, if you say, man, that's me, I am so unfocused, I don't even know how to do this. 5 really easy, practical ways. Some of you just laughed at the person beside you. I'm not even going to acknowledge who I saw do that, but there were 3 of you that did that, and I'm not even going to point you out. 5 practical ways to improve our focus. 1, make a list. Make a list. I'm the kind of person I love checking stuff off a list. If I don't have pen and paper, I make a digital list, and I put a check mark beside it on my notes app on my phone, or I open up Numbers on my Mac, and they've got a whole checklist app now, like in the Numbers template, and I can put the thing in the date and mark and sort by ascending, and it puts it by date that I've just set in there, and I can click it and puts a check mark, and it draws a line through the thing that I just did. I'm like, yay! All right, make a list. Put some of your most creative time into knocking out your list. Like, I don't know if you're like me. Sometimes I make a list, and some of my most creative time is making sure I haven't forgot anything on the list. Like, once you've got the list, just start working on it. And here's the deal. It's not make the list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then doing them in that order. After you make the list, there's a second step, which we'll talk about in just a second. It's prioritizing the list, right? So all the time, I'll go right here and I'll put these rings of focus numbers beside them. So I've got all these things right here, boom, 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 and I'll go, okay, that's a 2. It's I love it, but it's not a priority right now. That's a 2. Okay, this is a 1. That's a 4. I got to delegate that. That's a 3. This is a 1. This is a 1. Okay, that's a 2. And then what I can do is I can then either take it and make a new list in the right order, or I can just start working off this list and just be disciplined enough to start with the right number. So I've got to make the list, and then number 2 is I've got to prioritize the priorities. Some of the things in 3 are more important than some of the things in 1, but I'm not going to get them done because I don't love them as much. That's just the reality. Some of the things right here that are a priority are actually more important than number 1, but I don't love them, so they're not going to get done as quickly. So I've got to make sure that I am prioritizing the priorities. Number 3, delegate what you hate. Delegate what you hate. You can't get 1 and 3 done if you're stuck doing a bunch of 2s and 4s that zap your energy. You can't get 1 and 3s done if you're doing 2s and 4s that zap your energy. 4, reevaluate regularly. So if this is just a daily to-do list, then maybe you reevaluate it at the end of the day. But I would say you probably reevaluate this weekly or bi-weekly whenever you meet to reevaluate things in each area. And so here's what I do. The most productive weeks that I have always have the same rhythm. My work week starts on Monday. All right? So for me, I sit down at some point on Sunday night for 10 minutes. It happens all over the place. Sometimes it's like very strategically. I'm sitting like at our dining room table and I pull out my phone or my computer or a notepad or whatever. I sit out and I outline the 3 to 5 things that absolutely have to get done this week. I'm not making the whole to-do list. I'm just prioritizing the priorities. So when I go to make the list tomorrow morning, I know the first 3 to 5 things that are going to end up on that list over there, and I know where they fit. They're either 1 or 3s because they're a priority this week for me. Whether I love them or hate them, they got to get done. Kids check in, cannot go another Sunday like it happened. We're going to get it fixed. And so it's on the list. So I sit down on Sunday nights for like 10 minutes, and I list out those 3 to 5 things that I'm absolutely going to make sure that by the end of this week, they got done. And then, first thing Monday morning, if I can help it, sometimes it's before I get to the office, other times it's when I get to the office, I sit down and make the list. Or I look at the list that was lingering from the end of last week, and I kind of add to it, move some things around, move some things down. And if anything rolls over from one week to the next, it either means I don't love it or I was unfocused and it still is a priority. And so I've got to make sure it's the first thing that gets done or it's the first thing that gets delegated. It can't linger for 2 or 3 weeks. That's just not good stewardship. Unless it's not a priority at all in our church and it's like just a waste of my time, then I move it way down the list. But I'm going to make sure it gets done first. Or I'm going to make sure it gets delegated. And so for me, after I reevaluate, the 5th thing is this. You got to have someone to hold you accountable. You got to have someone to hold you accountable. There comes a level where you have to be personally accountable for sure, but it probably starts where someone is asking the right questions regarding each ring of focus. Who do you have in your life or on your job or on your team, maybe every Sunday morning before you get in your team huddle or whatever your rhythm is here, so like you're sitting with them going, hey, this week, here's the things I'm working on. Will you just text me on Friday and make sure they got done or whatever? Who's holding you accountable for those things? Any questions on these focus, rings of focus, to-do list, priorities, before we jump to something else? All right, good stuff. Yeah, question. Let's get the mic. You're good.
What was the name of that app with the checklist and the check mark?
Okay, so a couple things. One, we have used for years an app called Wunderlist, Wunderlist. You have a salesman in the back that gets like an affiliate link for Wunderlist. No, Wunderlist is awesome. I did hear that they were just purchased by Microsoft and that it may be going away so that they can add it to like their OneNote thing. I'm not a big Microsoft fan, but it's still available. We quit using it for a while because we thought we were about to lose it, but it's still there. I still use it from time to time. Kind of just an old school way that's like a digital paper and pen is if you have a Mac, you go into the Numbers app, which is their version of Excel. You go to the templates, and it's the checklist template. And you just add the task, and you put the due date, and there's a box that when you get done, you click it, a check mark shows up, and it does a strike through on the text. There you go. Don't know. Yeah, the Numbers app is free for the iPhone, so you've got that too. Wunderlist is a free app, I believe, or it usually kind of goes on sale every now and then. You can buy like an upgraded version, but unless you're collaborating with teams and sharing resources that way, the individual Wunderlist is awesome. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that we have done in the collaboration realm for this, like if it would work for your team, and I don't know your working environment for your team, maybe you're thinking through the house leadership or other places on your job, is like you can share lists like she's talking about with each member of your team. So like I had a shared list with each staff member, Jeremy and Trevor, Jeremy and Steve, and then we would both be able to add that, but we could also add notes and share files on there. So if I needed Trevor to do something, I could upload a file to a specific task, and he could go look at that PowerPoint or look at that video or look at that, hey, order something like this, and I put 3 pictures of something that I like, and so he was looking for, look to see those. So he doesn't have to come ask me all the time. I just upload all that to that, and then you can assign tasks to one another. So like, hey, there's a big project. We're updating the website. Trevor, your job is to get all the pictures taken, and I've assigned him that, and so he's checking those off. This is great resource. Nick.
So, reevaluating regularly, what does that look like for you? Is that just like taking a few minutes and saying, okay, this slipped, so I either need to focus on this, or is it kind of a on the go, like I'm looking at this task and I'm having a hard time getting it done, so do I reevaluate then, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I think reevaluating is setting aside a time to look at what you have produced. What you've actually gotten done. Like, I can claim to be as efficient as I want to be, and I can claim to be a great leader, but if at the end of the day I'm not getting results, I got to have enough self-awareness to go, okay, I'm either spending time on the wrong things, or I am not gifted to do what I've been given. Because I'm working hard and I'm not getting anything done. So a reevaluation for me is just like, what did I actually produce? And then also recognizing what were the things that were priorities that did not get done. Were there some things that, like, I showed up on a Sunday? I have no idea. I'm trying to come up with one right now. I showed up on a Sunday. I've been frustrated with kids check-in, and kids check-in is broken again. Well, the first week, maybe that's nobody's fault, or maybe it's the kid's person's fault, or whatever. The second week, at least a portion of that is my responsibility for not having a hard conversation. The third week, it's entirely my fault. So if I get to the third Sunday and something that is a priority in our church hasn't gotten done, I'm owning that. And so a reevaluation is me going, you know what? I dropped the ball here. I'm scheduling that meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow. It will get done. So reevaluation is just reevaluating and adjusting my time to make sure that the things that are priorities got done. The other thing that you could do, and my cousin's a graphic designer, freelance guy, whatever, and he has a new app on his computer that like tracks how long he works on projects so that he can bill clients and stuff. It's amazing. I wish I had that, because what I would love is to know how much time I'm actually working on the things that are not priorities. You know, if I know, you know what, this week I spent a lot of time doing graphic design. Well, I'm not a graphic designer, and our organization does not work efficiently when I'm the guy spending 8 hours on a graphic. That's not the best use of my time. So for me, if I go, you know what, I spent a ton of time on graphics this week, then a reevaluation for me is going, that's totally out of balance, because my message is not going to be as good this Sunday. It's just not, because I didn't spend as much time. Any other questions or thoughts? All right, awesome. So we've talked about, we just said it, delegate what you hate. How many of you feel like, raise your hand here, how many of you feel like you're a good delegator? Anybody? It's okay. Devin? Steven? All right, everybody else is like, yeah, we get all the stuff y'all delegate, right? Yeah, y'all are pretty good at it. We do it. All right. No, that's fine. So if that's the case, then the rest of us, I don't know how many people are in the room and how many people watching by video here, but the rest of us would not necessarily say that we're good delegators. So here's what I wanted to do today. I want to give you what I'm calling language of delegation. Language of delegation. I think this is a game changer. It's probably been the last 12 months, 10 or 12 months or so, where I've really tried to utilize this. I'm not saying I do it in every conversation for delegation or every email for delegation or whatever, but I am saying that I've tried to make a more concerted effort, because here's what would happen. We would have a conversation. Let's just say me and Trevor, because he's here today. And at the end of that conversation, I assume that Trevor knew I wanted him to go and get a bunch of pictures together of things that we might do in our church and bring them to me, and we would decide together. 3 days later, Trevor gives me the receipt for what he bought that we're doing at our church. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not what I thought you were supposed to do. Or the opposite's happened. I want him to just go make a decision. Just go buy the thing and get it here for Sunday. Go order it on Amazon Prime. Just get it here. It's fine. And then he comes back in like 4 times during that week going, hey, do you think we need blue? Or do you want the white one or the green one? And I'm like, I don't care. And then he comes back in again. And he's like, all right, we're going to go with the blue one, but do you want to pay for the insurance policies? $4 for a 2-year coverage. And I'm like, I don't care. So I thought he was just going to buy the thing, do the thing, get the thing done. And he thought I wanted a lot of buy-in on this process. So I'm going to give you 3 specific phrases that I think will help you as it relates to delegation. All right? And really, when we're talking about delegation, what we're talking about is we're talking about multiplying yourself. We are not talking about giving other people tasks. Because if you give them a task, they're just managing for you. Delegation is actually about delegating authority to someone so that they have the authority to do what you would do if you could be in 2 places at one time. That's what delegation is. If you're just saying, hey, go buy the thing, that's not really delegation. You just gave them a task. But if I say to Trevor, hey, we need a new vacuum cleaner, and listen, you have the authority to go make the decision or whatever, to do the research, I'm giving you the ultimate authority. That's really delegation. Otherwise, it's just management tasks. And so what we're talking about here is really multiplying yourself. It's helping take the time to understand so that the other person understands the why behind the what. Here's what I want you to do, and here's why I want you to do it, so that they don't make the same decision that you would make, but that they make it for the same reason you would